Hello and greetings to all. It is I, the ideal gamer, Taven Sai. And so for the past 3 years, whenever I would stroll on Twitter or look at some YouTube videos that have talks of Last of Us Part 2, it's such a great story. There are some that say it is downright a horrible story, that it deserves a 5 or a 6. And there are those who would say it's a great story and it deserves a 9 and a 10, and it deserved that game of the year, which we all disagreed with, or most of us. Look, even Angry Joe didn't like The Last of Us Part 2. I believe he gave it a slightly above average rating. And here's what made The Last of Us Part 2 terrible. It was the story. Downright the story. But yet, I keep on hearing people say it had a great story. I don't understand for the life of me. And the reason why I'm talking like this is because I'm not feeling so well. But the reason why I'm making this video is because I keep on hearing people say Last of Us Part 2 was a great story, better than the first one. Now, I never played the first game. I'll raise it up a little bit. I never played the first Last of Us. And I said that in my previous video about it. And I think Part 2 sucked. But when I finally played Part 1, I said to myself, where did y'all go wrong? Why do all of this? Why? You had a great story, a great character development, great characters, great style. I mean, what was the point of just ruining everything with contradiction, politics, and a bunch of woke agenda crap where the villain wins in the most uncool way? I mean, yeah, I get it. You know, they did the whole Batman Punisher style in the first one, where, you know, Joel loses something more precious than gold. And, you know, he becomes this hardened, cold person that does anything to survive. But in Part 2, here's what made it suck. You killed off the previous protagonist in a most uncool and undeserved way. You made the antagonist, which is Abby, a hypocrite who is hated a lot more now after you've forced people to play as her. And last but not least, you put politics into it. Now, I'm going to break these things down for more details, like I did last time. Abby was not fun to play with because she killed Joel. The reason why she did it was because Joel killed her father, but her father was going to kill Ellie for a cure that everyone knows wouldn't have worked through the theories and through the science. But this really isn't a video as to why Last of Us Part 2 sucks. This is a video about why does everybody keep on saying that Last of Us Part 2 is a great movie. I mean, it's been said that the doctor's method was flawed, that if you go through the last stage of the story, you can find cassette tapes of his recordings about how he failed in the past to produce a cure from other immune people. And another thing is, why it sucked is because it put so much politics into this game. I mean, you can say Metal Gear Rising Revengeance has politics, but it's more lines of philosophy and a story style of fighting to find out who is right and who is wrong. You can hardly sense or see the politics in that. Another thing is what was so wrong with the story is that you let the villain escape in an uncool and undeserved way, where you are forced to beat Ellie. Sorry for the spoilers, but you play as Abby and you beat up Ellie, about to kill her, and then you're about to kill a friend who's pregnant after you shot the father. Yeah, there are a lot of things wrong with this story. If you want more details, just check out Angry Joe's Last of Us Part 2 game review. But please, oh please, tell me in the comments section, in a response video, as to why Last of Us Part 2 was such a great movie. I mean, had such a great story. And in case anyone's wondering how I would have done a better job with this story, is that I could have gone about this two ways. Way number one, you play as Abby from the beginning. You don't put Joel or Ellie into the story. This story is mainly about... Sorry, hand got tired. This story is mainly about Abby and her search for revenge. But along the way to find the person who murdered your father, you grow, you learn, and you begin to understand and see that you understand why Joel did what he did. Because if it had been the other way around, which it was, she would have done exactly what Joel did. And when Abby would get to finally see Joel at the end of this story, she would have, the player really would have a choice: let Joel and live or let him die. I hope that there are people who would choose to let him live, because you played as him in the previous game, but you know what happens if you let him die. And the other method was, story method for this was, okay, let's make this a revenge quest. You actually witness Joel dying in the most cruel, disrespectful, uncool way. And excuse me. And you take out all her friends. It's just you and her mano finally. And instead of playing as Abby, you play as Ellie. And you defeat Ellie in combat. You grab a gun, pointing it at her head, and Abby's just giving you a death glare of rage and anger, encouraging you to finish it, taunting you, saying Joel got what he deserved, and saying that he would have gotten more if I had the power and ability to. But instead, Ellie has flashbacks of Joel, that she understands that Joel wouldn't want this and just lets her go and gives her a speech, so small, quick speech saying that you scarred me, you've taken something from me, all for the sake of your selfish revenge. And now you've lost your friends, so I think we're squared. Live with your selfishness. Something of that. Just take all the politics out of it and you'd have a good story. Or either play as Abby the whole time and grow and have a change of heart along the way when you finally reach your goal. When you see Joel and Ellie living as a family, and that she understood that her dad would have taken that from them. But that's all I've got to say. If you guys have any reason why Last of Us Part 2 was a great story, say it in the comments, because I can't figure out for the life of me why there are people here that say Last of Us Part 2 was a great story. Thank you and good night.